All right, today we're going to dive into how to build a truly high-performing sales team. We're going to map out a blueprint that connects your big-picture business strategy directly to the day-to-day grind of your sales force. The goal? Making sure every single action they take drives real, meaningful results. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you something. Does it ever feel like your sales team is just on a completely different wavelength than the rest of the company? I mean, yeah, they might be hitting their quotas, closing deals, but are those the right deals? Are they actually pushing your long-term strategy forward? This is a super common problem, and it's exactly what we're going to tackle today.
So what's the fix? Well, the solution is having a unified framework, a blueprint. Think of this as the master control panel for your entire sales operation. It shows you how every single piece, from your high-level strategy down to the individual calls your team is making, all connect to get you the results you want. This is how you turn chaos into a well-oiled machine.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the overall model, the blueprint itself. Then, we'll roll up our sleeves and get practical. We'll talk about how to structure your team, how to design a pay plan that actually motivates people, how to measure the stuff that truly matters, and finally, how to get ahead of those common team conflicts before they blow up.
Okay, so let's start with that 30,000-foot view. The whole point of this blueprint is to draw a straight, unbroken line from your company's high-level commercial strategy all the way down to the numbers your team is putting on the board every single day. No more disconnects, period. And here's the model itself. It breaks the whole system down into 5 key pillars. See, everything starts with your commercial strategy, but a strategy is just a dream until you execute. And to do that, you need to nail the next 4 pillars: the structure of your team, the people you have, the activities they do, and finally, the results they get. Let's dig into how we turn that strategy into real action. So let's start with that first pillar, structure. You can think of this as the actual architecture of your sales force. It's the engine. And if you don't build the engine right, you're not going anywhere, no matter how good your strategy is. Now, when you're building this engine, you have 5 absolutely critical decisions to make. First, how big should this team even be? What's the hierarchy going to look like? Who reports to who? What are these specific tasks and responsibilities for every single role? How are you going to have them specialize? And the big one, how are you going to carve up the territories? Now, figuring out the right size for your team isn't just guesswork. It's actually a science. It's a methodical 8-step process. You start by figuring out exactly who your target clients are and where to find them. Then you calculate how often they need a visit and for how long. That lets you figure out how many visits one salesperson can realistically handle, which then tells you the perfect portfolio size for each rep. And boom, that tells you exactly how many salespeople you need. It's all data-driven. Okay, another huge structural choice is specialization. And you've basically got 2 common models. You can have your team specialized by product, where each person becomes a deep expert on one specific thing you sell, or you can have them specialized by client or industry, where they become experts on the unique needs of a certain type of customer. There's no single right answer here. It completely depends on your business and what your market looks like. Okay, so you've built the engine, now what? You've got to fuel it. That brings us right to the people pillar, and specifically how you use compensation to drive the right behaviors and, let's be honest, get some killer results. And just like team size, you don't want to just wing it when it comes to compensation. This 5-step process makes sure your pay plan is strategic. You start by setting the overall pay level, then you find that right balance between salary and incentives, design the nitty-gritty details of the incentive plan, choose your payment periods, and finally, you think about any other rewards you want to throw in. Now, step 2 is where it gets really interesting. This is where you find the right mix between a fixed salary and a variable incentive. You have to ask yourself, what kind of company are we? Are you conservative, maybe prioritizing stability with a big salary and small bonus? Are you balanced? Or are you aggressive, really pushing performance by making a huge chunk of pay variable? This says a lot about your company culture and how much risk you expect your team to take on. So once you figured out your mix, you have to design the incentive itself. And this is where you hit some key questions. Are we talking commissions or bonuses? Are we measuring individuals or the whole team? Are the payouts capped or do they accelerate for your top performers? The sky's the limit. And do people get paid from the very first dollar they sell or only after they hit a certain target? Your answers here will shape the day-to-day motivation of your entire team. Okay, so your team is structured, they're motivated, they're fueled up. But is it actually working? How do you know if you're succeeding? This is where we talk about measuring what really matters, looking at both the hard numbers and the softer side of performance.
So the blueprint splits results into two main camps. On one side, you've got the quantitative stuff, the hard numbers. How many active clients do we have? How many new ones did we sign this quarter? Pretty straightforward. But on the other side, you have the qualitative, the quality of the work. How strong are our relationships with our clients? You need both to get the full picture.
And this is where you can see that connection come to life. On the left, you have the day-to-day activities and skills of your team, their hustle, their market knowledge, their ability to spot an opportunity. And on the right, you have the company's bottom line, your sales history, your costs, your overall strategy. The best metrics build a solid bridge directly between the two.
And finally, let's get real for a minute. You can have the most perfectly designed plan in the world, but it can all get derailed by internal friction and conflict. A truly great sales leader knows how to anticipate and manage these issues before they start. Oh, this is a classic. You hear it all the time. One salesperson feels like their territory is a desert, while their colleague got handed a gold mine. If the potential really is that different, but their targets are the same, you're just breeding resentment. It feels like the game is rigged from the start.
Here's another one you've probably heard. Maybe one product is a proven winner that sells itself, and another is a brand new, complex sell that takes a ton of work. If you don't account for that difference in difficulty when you set targets, the person with the tougher product is going to feel completely demoralized, like they were set up to fail.
And oh man, this one might be the most damaging. A top performer absolutely crushes their number, blows it out of the water, and what's the reward? A new target for next year that feels like a punishment. It's almost impossible. That is a surefire way to kill motivation for your absolute best people. So here's the bottom line. A leader's job isn't just to design the perfect system on paper. It's to manage the very real human element within it. Being aware of these flashpoints around territories, product difficulty, and goal setting is the absolute key to keeping your team focused, motivated, and all pulling in the same direction. And that brings us to the end of our blueprint. So looking at this whole system, from structure and pay to the metrics and managing conflict, I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Which one of these pillars in your own sales operation needs an upgrade the most? Thanks for watching.